new show that a lot of people haven't seen yet, obviously. How would you describe... Oh, are we away?
My phone is...
How would you describe it? How would you describe the show and your character and what you like about him?
I think Almost Human is a little glimpse into our future. The story is about a human cop, John Kennex, who comes out of a coma, been in a coma for 2 years, and has to learn how to live in a vastly different world than the one that he remembered. Him and his colleagues are really at the forefront of protecting society from technology which is being used by various individuals, organizations, corporations, and I find that infinitely interesting. The technologies that we're talking about, it's not wild science fiction. This stuff has been researched. It's just around the corner. The heart of the show, in my opinion, is the relationship between these characters, and in particular the relationship between Michael Ealy's character, who plays this android, and my character, John Kennex. And, you know, in a way, they're both learning from each other. They're both putting each other in touch with their humanity, and I find that quite appealing.
What can you tell us about the ex-girlfriend who we now find is the evil mastermind behind the big ambush?
Not much. That's a question for Joel Wyman. But again, you know, that was, to me, one of the interesting elements of the show was that, you know, John Kennex awakens after being in a coma for 2 years and then discovers, you know, this pretty sort of has this damning revelation that he's partially responsible for the loss of a lot of life, a lot of his friends. And it's so interesting to me to have an individual that is that damaged, that's not only trying to cope with living in a world that is foreign to him, but then also having to deal with the responsibility, the pain, the anger, the guilt, the baggage of his past. It's infinitely interesting.
So in your initial approach to the character, how much did you know about his backstory going in, and how much was it things that you filled in? And when you did find out more, how much actually matched up to making it up?
Yeah, well, you know, obviously I had extensive conversations with Joel Wyman and with JJ about the character of John Kennex and the vision for him, and we all were really on the same page. You know, he is, as I said before, he is this almost this dinosaur of a cop that has awoken from this coma and has really kind of been pushed into the front lines of, you know, protecting humanity against itself. You know, in the process, he's trying to, you know, he's trying to reclaim elements of his life that, because of what happened to him, he just simply can't remember.
You've done a lot of genre shows, specifically sci-fi,
Yeah.
between Star Trek and Dread. Is there anything about this particular world that you enjoy that's a little different from what you've done before?
Yeah, I think that to me, I think that what's really interesting and compelling about Almost Human is the relationship between what is essentially a walking computer and his partner, and how John is very you know, resistant towards accepting his new partner in the beginning, and then just to see how that slowly, how the character of Dorian slowly breaks down that sort of tough shell that John has, just by the sheer humanity that he possesses in the most ironic way.
What do you think about the future? Are you scared about technology the way it's going?
And this is the last question.
I wouldn't describe myself as a technophobe, but certainly when I talk with Joel and we discuss some of the upcoming stories and some of the, you know, the elements that he's researched, sure, it's a little bit frightening about the possibility of, you know, what's just around the corner. I mean, you only have to look at the news. You know, a couple of months back, there was a couple of guys who developed a gun that you could make out of foam.
See how focused he is? He didn't rattle him at all.
He's been doing this all day. You know, these guys that are making, you can make a gun that can kill someone out of foam, like a 3D laser printer. You can make a gun. I mean, that's just one. That's what's here now. Imagine what's here in 40 years. You know, and I often liken it. You know, my phone. You know, I couldn't imagine now living without, you know, my phone, which, you know, just does everything. But you think back to where we were in 1995, we didn't have this technology, that stuff there that does everything for you. You know, and that's only in the space of 10 years. So you can imagine another 30. You
go back and watch the old sci-fi movies, and they had all this great stuff, but the phones were still tethered to the wall.
exactly.
There's still a bank of
Yeah.
blinking lights on.